Hey there everyone, so here is the screencast review for the quiz on ArrayList. So first up I have two multiple choice questions and let's see what they look like. So in the first one we're just asked what is printed as a result of executing the code segment. So all you need to do is go through, add letters, remove them, and then print out the remaining, what remains, um, or what the list looks like after all those statements have gone on. So I'm going to handwrite how I would be working this out. So the first thing says ArrayList list equals new ArrayList and then list.add a. Okay, so that made a new ArrayList and I immediately add a to it. And then we add B, and because it just says add with only one argument, that means that we just add it to the end of the list. Now, list.add 0C means put C into the 0 position and move everything that was in the 0 position and on, adjust it backwards. So you're inserting C in essentially in front of A. So I'm going to get C, A, B after that happens. Then I'm going to add D. So now I have C, A, B, D, and then list.set to E. So list.set overwrites what's already in that position with what you supply. So that means I'm going to go into the to position and overwrite what's there now, which is a B, with an E. So let me erase the B and I'm going to put in an E. So, and then finally, list.remove 1. So that removes what's in the 1 position. So there's an A in the 1 position. So I'm just going to completely remove it and I'm getting left with CED. So that means CED is my solution. Okay, now let's look at uh, the next one. The next one's a little bit trickier. Let's see if I can scroll down to it. Okay, so what is printed as a result of executing the code segment? Okay, so this one has two for loops, and we'll see, we'll kind of take the same approach. I'll just sketch out how I would work it out if I was asked to using pen and paper. Okay, so ArrayList list equals new ArrayList. That creates a new ArrayList. And then for int I equals 1, I less than equal to 8, I plus plus, list.add new integer I. So new integer I is how you create basically a new integer that consists of whatever you supply as the argument here inside the parentheses. So remember, integers are object variables. They're the wrapper class of ints. So you can't just say integer, x equals 1. Um, uh, well, actually, I take that back. Um, yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to test and see if you can do that. Well, in this case, we're calling the constructor of integer to make an integer. So that means after this loop executes, I will have added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm just going to write what positions those are in. Okay, and now it says for j equals 1, j less than list.size j plus plus, list.set j over 2, list.get j. Okay, so I can tell that I'm not removing anything and I'm not adding anything. So right off the bat, I know that probably in the end I should expect to have a list that has 8 elements in it since I don't have list.add or list.remove. So, but let's see how it flushes out. So the first time through, j is going to be 1, right? So I'm just going to make a little mini chart here with J. And the stopping condition is J less than list.size. So 1 is less than 8. So the list is going to start. So list.set J over 2, list.get J. Okay, so what is J divided by 2? Well, it's int division, and 1 divided by 2 is actually going to be 0. So I'm going to put into the 0 position list.getJ what is currently in the 1 position. Oh, well, let's see. There's a 2 in the 1 position. So list.set means overwrite into the 0 position what is in the 1 position. Okay, so there's a 2 right there, and actually the 2 stays there. Let me just go back to see if I can. It's been a while since I've used my tablet this way. See if I can still do it. So I get the 2 and I put it into the 0 position. And then J goes up to 2 because it's J++. So 2 is still less than 8. So what do I get? I get list.set J over 2. Well, that's 2 over 2, which is going to be 1. And list.get J, well, J is 2. Okay, so I'm getting what's in the 2 position, and I'm overwriting what's in the 1 position. All right, so that means I'm going to take the 3, and I'm going to overwrite the 2 that's in the 1 position. So I'm going to put a 3 there. And now J goes up to 3. 3 is less than 8. So it says list.set 3 over 2, 3. So J is 3. So I'm going to get what's in the 3 position. And where am I putting it? I'm putting it in the 3 over 2 or the 1 position. So I'm getting what's in the 3 position, and I'm putting it in the 1 position because 3 over 2 is 1. Remember, it's int division once again. So that means I'm going to take the 3 the 4 that's in the 3 position and put it in the 1 position. So once again, the 4 actually stays there, doesn't get removed. It's the what is in the 1 position that gets a copy of what's in the 4 position. Okay, so then J goes up to 4. 4 is still less than 8, so we're going to keep going. Okay, now we have list.set J over 2, list.get 4. So list.set 4 over 2, which is going to be put in the 2 position, what is currently in the 4 position. So there's a 5 in the 4 position, so I'm going to overwrite what's in the 2 position with the 5. So what's in the 2 position is a 3, so I'm going to overwrite it with a 5. Okay, then J moves on to 5. And I get list.set 5 over 2, comma, list.get 5. Well, 5 over 2, once again, is just 2 because it's int division. So that means I'm really going to get what's in the 5 position and overwrite what's in the 2 position. So I currently have a 6 in the 5 position. So I'm going to take that 6 and overwrite what's in the 2 position. So there's a 5 in the 2 position. I'm going to overwrite it with what's in the 5 position. All right. Then J goes up to 6. Okay, so now I have list.set J over 6 over 2, which is 3, and list.get 6. Okay, and so that means replace what's in the 3 position with what's currently in the 6 position. So there's a 7 in the 6 position. So I'm going to overwrite the 4 with a 7. Okay. All right. So then I'm done. And j goes up to 7. And now I'm going to do list.set 7 over 2. 7 over 2 once again is 3. So I'm overwriting what's in the 3 position with what is in the 7 position. So there's an 8 in the 7 position. So I'm going to overwrite what's in the 3 position with the 8. Okay. And now, so I'm done. Now j goes up to 8. Okay, and 8 is not less than 8, so I'm done. So that means I'm left, and then I print out the value of the list. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. It would be choice A. Okay, so I also have two free response methods that would be similar to what you might see in about the level of complexity. So the first one is called 3 in a row, and it's right here, and it says return true if array list contains somewhere in it 3 increasing adjacent numbers like 4, 5, 6, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so really I'm just looking for a single occurrence. I don't have to keep looking as soon as I find one occurrence of consecutive integers. So basically, I just am going to have a simple loop that goes from the beginning, from the first possible set of 3 elements through the last possible set of 3 elements in the array list, and checks to see if the second one is one more than the first one, and the third one is one more than the second one, or 2 more than the first one. So let's see what I came up with. I said, okay, oh yeah, if nums.size less than equal 2, return false. Okay, now let's think. I don't know that I would actually have needed that because, let's see, I think it's going to return false even if nums.size is 2 or less, because my loop is going to end up being uh, I equals 0, I less than nums.size, which would be 2, minus 2. 2 minus 2 is 0, so I would have I equals 0, I less than 0, I plus plus. Well, that condition is already false from the very beginning, so the loop wouldn't execute. So I don't actually need that special case, although there's really no harm if you do include it. Okay, so this is just a simple for loop where I'm going from um, 0 up through to uh, the second to last element. So the second to last element is going to be in position nums dot size minus 3, because the last element is in position nums dot size minus 1, and the second to last element is nums.size minus 2. So I'm going to go from 0 up through nums.size minus 3, which is the same thing as less than nums.size minus 2. And I'm just going to check to see if that relationship exists, and that special relationship of consecutive integers. And if it does, then I will simply return true. Okay, now notice I can still treat my integers as if they are ints when I get them out of my array list because of the auto boxing property of array lists in Java. Java will automatically convert an integer into an int when it removes it or gets its value from an array list. So I have here if nums.getI plus 2 equals nums.getI plus 2. So that means the third one is 2 more than the first one in my sequence of 3. Okay, and nums.get I plus 1, that would be the second one in the sequence, is equal to nums.get I, which is the first one, plus 1. Okay, then return true. And then finally, return false. So that's actually all I really need, and that one should be good. Okay, and then in the next one it says return an array list integer consisting of all odd integers found in nums, with the odd integers being arranged in decreasing, oops, let me fix that typo, decreasing order. For example, 3, 5, 10, 2, 5, 1, 12, 7 would return 7, 5, 5, 3, 1. So it's a little bit like sorting, except that I'm sorting from high to low, and I only want the portion of my original array list that are odd integers. So what I could do is either do selection or insertion sort with only the odd integers in my array list, which would involve either finding the largest odd integer if I was doing selection sort, or well, actually, it would be easier to do with insertion sort with in the way that where you would just take the first element if it was uh, in the list that's provided. If it was an even number, you would just remove it and do nothing with it. If it was an odd number, you would then do insertion sort, where you would be building this list and you would constantly be placing the new values, those odd values that you get in this case, it would be decreasing order. So a little bit different than the increasing order that we're used to. However, in my solution, I did more of a selection sort, and I just kind of used selection sort to sort the entire thing from highest to lowest. And then after that, I um, uh, went through my resulting list and simply removed every even uh, every element that was an even number. Okay, now you wouldn't actually even need to know how selection or insertion sort works to um, do the algorithm. Basically, you constantly look for in this case, the biggest item in our list of items, add it to the end of a list that you're building, remove it from the list that you took it out of. Then the next time through, you're going to do another search, except this time it's only going to be through what remains after you remove that biggest item. So you're going to repeat the process, and here's what I came up with. Okay, so I made a new array list of integers. And then I said, okay, while nums.size is greater than 0, so I'm going to have a while loop that is going to continue to execute as long as there's something in nums that still hasn't been removed and added to my new sorted array list, which would be nums2. So I need to find the maximum value and the position of the maximum value each time through the loop in what remains of nums. So what I do is I say, okay, I will assume make this variable max value and say that it's whatever is assigned to the 0 position of nums. And my pause variable, or I could call it max pause, maybe I'll call it max pause instead. I'll change it. Uh, Basically says, oh, okay, well, max pause is where that largest value is. And then I'll go through the rest of the array list. So that's what this for loop is here. I'll go starting in position 1 and look through the end. And if I find a number that is in the J position that's bigger than max value, which remember initially starts off as being you just assume to be the first value in the array list. Then what do? I update max value to be what that new value is, and I change max position to be where that new max value is, which would be J, in the J position. So I do that. After that for loop is ended, I have found not only the maximum value, but more importantly, where it occurs. And what do? I add it. I remove it from um, nums and I add it to nums2 at the end. So essentially, this is selection sort where I am picking out, except selection sort from largest to smallest. Okay. Okay. So even though selection sort was you kind of did a selection sort algorithm within this ArrayList problem, you don't necessarily on the quiz, it won't say sort this using selection sort. It'll just say accomplish this, and it will describe it in enough detail that you would know that, well, you're really using selection sort, and you of course understand how selection sort works. So you're going to write your code, but it's not going to say use selection sort to sort something or use bubble sort to sort something. It's not really going to assume that you even know those algorithms. So, all right, I hope this helps, and some of you watch this because I actually spent 2 to 3 hours making it here on Sunday. So we will see you on Tuesday. Take care.